Hey, what you doing?
Trying out the Druid. They released that and the Necromancer class for the beta.
Isn't that the class that only does like 17 damage? Why would you play such garbage? You know what you should do? Follow some YouTube guides. Everyone has the best build, but they're at least better than yours.
Whoa. Shut the hell up. Hang on. Let me help you understand something real quick. Something that shouldn't need to be explained, but I need a disclaimer. There you go.
I can't. It's too big.
Okay, let me make it easier for you to comprehend. There you go.
Bruh, I know it's a beta, but there are still things you can learn and do now to prepare for the release. That's what these guides are for. Here, check this out.
Did you just tell me to watch a vid using artillery?
What's that?
It's a pylon that may or may not... I don't know who's dumber. You or that idiot. Oh, I get it now. Okay, I feel better. It was a long weekend, y'all. This is like my first real time coming up for air, and then I get greeted with a shitstorm of morons telling me how to make a build out of a beta, no less, by the way. Just like, and then I get shown videos of an idiot doing an artillery build. Like artillery. Okay, look. I didn't want to make a vid like this, okay? I just wanted to throw out my experiences. You know, I recorded my fair share of gameplay. You know, I wanted to just share my fair share of experience. I just wanted to sit at the table and eat just like everybody else. But of course, with this family, somebody or everyone has to make things so goddamn awkward. I keep this up, I'm gonna end up having to smoke it. Okay, let me reroute and try this. I have played all of the Diablos, starting with Diablo 1 when I was 12, maybe? And I have played them across both console and PC, and I have loved my time with every single one. So allow me to set the stage just a little further, and also explain I have plenty of hours in League of Legends and Smites, you know, some MOBAs. And I say this because there is a common theme between those MOBAs and Diablo. Item builds, naturally. However, I will say I never cared too much about the endgame of the Diablos, and I have never really touched rank too much for either one of those. So do you get where I'm going here? If you want to learn the best builds for the game, or just the best way to play the game, down to the very percentages, maybe go to like Asmongold or some of these other wide variety of channels that you can find on YouTube or Twitch. When it comes to me, I have always considered myself a very enthusiastic casual of the Diablo series. My focus is always having fun at the game, playing the game how I want. My favorite thing to do is to theorycraft with Diablo and all these and the MOBAs and everything else I mentioned. It's just theory crafting, and where most people would call the item builds troll or garbage or cheese, I simply call them shut the fuck up and let me do me. So what I want to reiterate in this vid mostly is that I think people have kind of lost touch with the true core of what Diablo has always been: casual a mind-numbing experience to just lose yourself to while slaying hundreds of monsters with music blaring in the background, and the existence of Last Epoch, Lost Ark, and all this host of other more complex and in terms of compared to Diablo games that exist. It kind of backs up that point. So before I even get into what I did with the Druid and what my experience was like with the game overall, if you're watching this, we need to come to that agreement. This video game is meant to have fun with. Find your way of enjoying it and just do you. This is meant for the casuals. So let's start this off with saying that my build may change whenever the full game actually is released and more becomes available, but what I found for a build in the beta honestly led me to have more fun with the Druid than I did with my Sorceress class that I made. And I'm pretty much a Sorceress main because it's magic and ranged. But I ended up finding some synergies within the Druid build that actually made me enjoy melee in so much more of a way than I ever had in any of the other Diablo games. And also, let me stress before we get into the build that I actually make all of my characters, like from ESO, from Diablo, and these other games where it's like PvP, dungeon raiding type thing. I make them for like specific reasons, specific jobs, tank, damage, healing, support, whatever. And that is the consideration I actually took when taking and building this Druid. I wanted to be able to handle whatever aggro there was for the higher damaging characters, the sword class, to consistently be able to put out their damage and have the room to do so without having to worry about getting flanked or anything like that. And holy shit, did I find a fun way to do it. So first, let's start with the basic. I went with Storm Strike simply because of the chain lightning effect. I'll be honest, when I first chose it, I didn't actually realize it was melee, and then when I figured it out, I wasn't overly mad about it either. The two modifiers I chose were the 15% chance to immobilize, which surprisingly popped off quite often. I don't know if it was just due to a beta buff or if I was just that lucky, but it was kind of reliable. Come here. I got an immobilize right off the bat. And die. Thank you. Go away. Immobilize again. For a 15% chance, I've done got that twice. Wait, hold up. Yeah, 15% chance to immobilize, and I've already got it kind of often. Look at that. Again. And for the seconds, I went with 2 additional chains. Just overall more AoE damage from a basic attack is really nice. And you can also see I maxed the ability out simply because it was one of the 2 moves that didn't have a cooldown, so I would be using them more often than not. So I'd rather have those maxed out. And the second ability I was talking about would be Shred. Since I had a melee attack that acted as an AoE, I decided to just kind of stick with that run overall. And the third attack on Shred is a pretty massive cleave that does some huge damage. Then the other big pull for me was with Shred were the 2 modifiers. The 2% heal for life, which, you know, comes quite in handy when you're face taking a crowd, and the poison on the 3rd strike. So not only did I have a huge cleave with a massive damage on it on its own, then it added a dot over 5 seconds, along with my basic attack chaining up to 7 enemies as well. Just these 2 moves alone could melt a crowd. For my defensive, I actually had 2 things, but only one of them was an actual skill, which was Earthen Bulwark. With the amount of CC in the game, you desperately need to find a way to fight against that, especially as a melee character. And so this fit that build really well with its modifier. And I also added another form of AoE to it with it exploding on breaking or expiring and hitting surrounding enemies. Again, just AoE focused however I could. Even my defensive was offensive, yo. Moving into the summoning section, I'll be honest. The wolves seem cool. They are cool. Having 2 little wolves travel with you and that item that allows you to turn them into werewolves is also a really cool concept. But the pill to be swallowed here, they absolutely suck. simply just because I found them to be massively unreliable when it comes to using their active. They would jump onto a target and deal a lot of damage, but the problem I always found was they missed their target for me like 50% of the time. I don't know if that was because of ping in the beta or what, but when you're trying to survive, you need your shit to hit 100% of the time. So I ended up going with the Vine Creeper for 2 reasons. 1, I didn't have to aim its active. And 2, the Strangle modifier also added a poison to whatever it grabbed. So sticking with my melting AoE focus here, this was helpful with enemies in front of me and some that were just outside of my immediate range. And then... yeah, I know, Hurricane only does 17 damage, ha 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 ha. It's another dot when surrounded. And when you add the slow and the mitigating 20% damage, you suddenly find your barriers and the 2% of healing happens to be a lot more effective. Crazy how that works out. Then I went with Cataclysm for my ult. Simply put, when melee, ranged enemies are a bitch. So with me at the center of everything, in a pinch this really came in handy with reaching out to enemies outside of my Vine's range, and the knockback was also good in either instance of knocking enemies away from me or to me. Then the modifiers of making enemies vulnerable longer and increasing the damage they took when vulnerable, well, melting AoE. Do you get it now? And that was it in terms of abilities. The equipment really didn't matter here because, again, it was a beta. Drops were inflated and nothing good stayed good for long because you always end up finding something better anyways, the armor wise. But I will say though, I was focused on keeping whatever kind of just messed with my abilities, which was kind of the idea of what they mentioned with how items were supposed to work with you now. They more meshed with your abilities rather than just giving you those buffs that you couldn't get otherwise outside of equipment. So it works, but I didn't care too much because, you know, it was still like a level 25 in the beta. However, I will point out 3 things I had on me. 1 is a must, and it's only equipment related because it's an affix, and that was the other form of defense I had, which was the barrier affix that gives you a barrier anytime you hit an elite. So between this and Earthen Bulwark, I rarely found myself in a bad situation. And the second thing I focused on with my equipment were the thorns. Melee and thorns, it's a no-brainer. But before I filmed this test that I'm going to show you, the one that I put the Druid through, I managed to find a staff that was just too good to be true. Granted, it was a legendary, but I swear it was made for what I built. Staffs are focused on CC'd enemies to begin with, but this one was just ridiculous with a 9% plus another 11% of damage to enemies that are immobilized by my basic attack or grabbed by my vines. Then 11% damage to enemies that are close as a melee character and 19% more damage for my basic... oh, someone just catch me. I was more excited about that than the affix, which was, I mean, it was also pretty nice with, you know, up to 36% chance of dealing lightning damage to overload the target for 3 seconds, causing any direct damage you deal to them to pulse for 308 additional damage to surrounding enemies. AoE, melting, do you get it yet? I found this, and see, I found this staff actually on the way to my test site after reaching level 25 and spending hours with the build that I already had. So in the end, this staff just ended up being the cherry on top, and I wish I could have kept it for the real game. So with all of that said and understood, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it over to the actual testing that I did at the village of Nostrava. Everything there, by the way, is 2 levels ahead of where I am. I'm at level 25. Everything there is like level 27. So I figured it would be a pretty decent test for all of my characters in the beta. That's where I would go to test them all out when I finally got them leveled up. So let's go ahead and head over there. But we have to go up here, start the event, or start this whole dungeon, whatever you want to call it, raid, by going in here talking to them. God, the friggin' rubber banding has just been bad all around today.
Blessed are you who will die in the mother's name.
I didn't mean to do that.
Give this stranger the holiest of welcomes.
Yeah, see, just in a crowd in general. And I didn't use everything on that. Oh, well, there's the shield. One of the shields I got. I didn't use my basic setup that I have for it. But yeah, you mobilize everybody. And just... My basic combo that I do with this is I'll hit them a couple of times to generate the spirit that I need. Go into the werewolf. And then come back to get more spirit. It's a good constant combo. Healing, doing immobilize. It's a pretty easy combo to do as well. All right, grab that. It'll be full again later. Yeah, you're constantly fighting when you're going through this. Hurricane, slow down everybody, causes me to do more damage as well. So we gotta check out all the houses. But every time I go to check out a house, something's trying to attack me.
I must wait a moment.
So I'll immobilize everybody with this. Poison damage. Wipes out a crowd. And keep in mind, I think everything is at level 27 here, or it might just be the boss fight. No, yeah, everything is at level 27 here. And right now, because I hit an elite, I have my shield on, so I'm not actually taking damage while I'm in all of that. Oh yeah, I gotta help her. I did not know where she was the first time I cleared this. I kept looking for her for almost an hour. Also, too, for those that may not know, I don't know if I can get it now. Let me go see. You go into here. There's an altar of Lilith back here. For those that may not know, we'll go. I have not found a decent route through this yet. This might be a good one. Get rid of this guy. My dodge is back up again, so I can get out of that. Heal up off of him. Plus, I think I also. I don't know if I still have it, but I think I heal off. Yeah, I heal off of killing an enemy right now. Her, she's the more main concern.
I'm not ready yet.
I'm surprised I wasn't ready yet. Normally I'm able to time the... Oh, I didn't do the werewolf attack, that's why. Mobilize everybody. Poison damage everywhere. Wipe out the crowd. Shield's gone, so I bring up this shield. Now it's gone again. Get rid of this guy. There we go. There you and you. Yeah, in a crowd, he does the same. And I am also playing on veteran. I'm playing on Ranked World 2 right now. Not playing on hardcore. Just why? Why would I? Right now, in a beta, why would I try that hard? Smack, 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 smack. There we go. See, that was that legendary affix on my staff causing that pulse. All right, do this. I should worry about the succubus first, but I don't want this guy on my ass the whole time. Wait, I'm in a AoE. Nope. And the one thing I like about this werewolf thing is it's a really good gap closer. So, like, you're not far from any fight whatsoever if it's, like, within a general range. It's easy to get in on the enemy that you need to kill. This again. Oh, okay. I just stopped attacking again because something's been going on in the beta. I don't know if that's ping or what, but every now and then I just stop attacking, and that is deadly. It's almost killed me twice because I'm trying to use my shield, and he just will not do anything. I'm assuming that's ping. That better not carry over to the main game. Because if that carries over to the main game, that is very detrimental to anything you try to do in this game. PvP, dungeon clearing, anything. Anything that just stops you from doing shit is not good. Get rid of that.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright, I hit an elite, so I don't need to use my shield here. That's immobilize. And I haven't used my ult yet because I haven't had to. Plus, that's a long-ass cooldown, so... The only time I'm really going to use my ult is if, like, I have a lot of distant enemies on the fringe. I don't want it. It's my house now. Alright, didn't even... Okay. Okay, there's the rest of them. I was about to say, I thought more enemies showed up. Okay. Nice. Don't need to heal up. Oh, hi. What? Oh, he teleported. I thought I killed him. Okay, time for the boss fight. This is going to be a pain in the ass if I'm not careful. But we got that going. Shit. I forgot about that. Gonna use this. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna be that much of a pain in the ass in general. Gonna do this now. God damn it, every time I get to her, she tries to run. Where'd she go now? No, you don't. Oh yeah, one's down already. Poison. Heal up. Put her shield up. I can chase her wherever she goes, doesn't matter right now. I'm standing in friggin' elite attacks and shit like that, and I'm not taking any damage because of the werewolf, because of the barriers and shit. Yeah, now this is gonna be a little bit of a problem. There we go. There's the barrier. Mobilize them. Poison them. Chase her. Heal up. Put my shield up. Heal off of her. Damn it.
I'm low on spirit.
Gotta get my spirit back up. Start doing this. Go in. And there we go.
It's done.
Alright. Easy enough. That's pretty much the Druid. Very fun class. The only other class I had fun with was the Rogue, actually. Sorceress is Sorceress. They're fun for clearing out crowds and stuff like that. But I'll end this by saying, if you want to play Barbarian, play a Druid.